Yeah, okay, it's Nick Dutch here again. This is one thing you don't actually know about me, but this is something I'm trying to learn so that I can get the money together to try and fulfill my various dreams and goals associated with like getting myself completely off grid, self-sufficient, that sort of thing. Uh, I'm learning how to trade. I've been doing it for a little while now, but not all that long, and I've still got a lot to learn. So essentially, there'll still be some mistakes made on the way. But essentially, what you're seeing here is a screen from a piece of software called MetaTrader 4, and this is like the price action of, in this particular case, the currency pair GBP USD. And essentially, you just have to make a decision based upon what you've learned about indicators, price action, and also the news that's happening in the world to work out where you think the price is going to be. And you set a position which is called your stop loss to say, well, that's how much I'm prepared to lose if I'm wrong. And then you put another position called a take profit, and that's how much I'm prepared to win if it's going to go according to plan. It can be quite emotional because you're just like watching figures going up and down all the time. So as you can see, I'm currently £4.79 positive on this one particular trade with 14.5 pips or 145 points worth of price action away from where I did my original purchase. So you got to do various things such as work out the value of what's called the spread. Now the spread is between the buy price and the sell price. Okay, but the word spread is also used in another way. I mean, there you go. It's easier to see there the red and the white. Okay, but the word spread is also used in terms of spread betting, which means that you are gambling, so to speak, in a manner which has no fixed losses and no fixed amount to win. So if you're betting, if you go to a bookmaker's and you put £10 on a horse, you know how much you're going to lose. You're going to lose your £10. Okay, and if it's, let's say it's a 10 to 1 horse, you know you're going to win £100 minus any taxes. So you know how much you're potentially going to win, and you know how much you're going to lose. With spread betting like this, you don't necessarily know that. Obviously, you've got your stop losses, and they give you some kind of control. But if you're not using stop losses, then essentially that can affect how much you can lose. I'm only using brokers at the moment that have what's considered to be limited risk accounts, which means that I can't owe them more money. All right, there's only a fixed quantity of money which I can lose, and that's what I've got in a trading account at any one time, which I think is actually a sane way of doing it at this particular stage of my life. I mean, it's not like I've got like millions of pounds in the bank. So essentially, if they say, well, we've got to keep your positions open, so let's have more money, can't just suddenly give them tons of money because like I am the poor. Okay, I'm not the homeless, but I am the poor, and I've just got to accept that. But this is what I'm trying to learn at the moment. Now, one big problem with being on YouTube is that like this is a sea of opinions. If you want to like learn stuff about foreign exchange, forex trading, which is what I'm doing at the moment with the GBP USD pair, or trading with, let's say, stocks and shares, which is something I'm doing via another program, which I'll just quickly flash up there. There you go. Then you can come across all kinds of opinions out there as to what's happening in the world, what's right, what's wrong, and the fact that this, that, and the other is happening. Therefore, it's proof of either a global economic collapse or the New World Order or UFOs from the hollowed-out moon are trying to take over the world. I mean, that's what YouTube is full of. That's what the internet is full of. If there's something perfectly normal happening in the world, it gets turned into a whopping great conspiracy theory by people who don't quite know what they're talking about. And are just like selling a form of politics. So your mission, should you decide to accept it, okay, is to be able to look at whatever is being broadcasted to you out there on the internet, and to filter out what is politics. I mean, we've seen pure political rhetoric bollocks coming out of the atheists camp. There's been the atheist extremist pundits who some of the more intelligent atheists are hating out against. You got the far right conservative fundamentalist Christian lunatics who are basically being political. There we go, £6.52. That's going up nicely so far. And they're coming out with all their political bullshit to try and manipulate your mind and change your voting behavior and get that, president out of the White House and all the rest of that kind of stuff. That's where you got to filter through. Okay, so much is hearsay, and so when I'm trying to look on YouTube for practical, rational advice about trading, or about how to recognize the various candle patterns, and that one there is that particular type of candle, as it's called, is called a doji, I think, because it's more like a spinning top. You got your the vertical line there and a horizontal line there, which shows there wasn't all that much difference between the opening price and the closing price for that period, but during that one particular period, which is, it's a 15-minute chart, okay, there was variability, which took the price above and below the opening and closing price during that one particular 15-minute period. Now, this is, of course, I'm doing what's called a short sell. I'm gambling on the value of this GBP USD pair going down, which means essentially either good news coming out of America or good news coming out of the UK. Okay, so that was the candle I was looking for. I was really hoping that would come, and yes, it came. That black one there, which is an upward candle, a bull candle, that one wasn't quite so happy with. But now, a bit more time's passed, and again we're going to get another bear candle because I'm gambling on the price going down. I'm betting on that. The fact that I've got that red line there, that's the stop loss, but the green line is where I bought it at. So essentially the stop loss has moved down, which means that will cover the spread between the buy and sell price. So even if everything goes completely pear-shaped and the price action goes way up, then I am still not going to lose tons of money. As I'm bidding on the price going down, if the stop loss was higher, then essentially I would still have a chance to lose money. In this particular case, the price action was sufficient enough to move my trailing stop automatically to bring it downward just a little, so I wouldn't actually lose tons of money. And now the price action is around this area here, which is good for me because essentially that means that I'm in profit for my little trade. Okay, I want the price to go down there. I'm anticipating it going down there. Whether it will or not, that's another issue. But on the other hand, within this one particular trade, I'm safe. Okay, with today's speculation on the stock market for my day trading, I haven't been quite as successful as I'd hoped to be. But on the other hand, I'm only using a tiny quantity of money there, so essentially it's not as serious as what I'm doing here. But on the other hand, it's still, it's taken me into profit. So I'm not really going to complain at all. And so essentially my little trading account with its tiny balance is slowly creeping upward bit by bit on a daily basis, which is basically what I wanted to do. I've been recommended to look at one particular website called Babypips.com. I think it's .com. And that's basically a online course in which you can learn everything about foreign exchange trading and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And it's quite good, quite informative, and tells you about all kinds of chart patterns and also the various indicators and oscillators and the rest of it. I've got a couple of them here. There's a MACD, which is moving average convergence divergence line, stochastic, I think it's pronounced stochastic oscillator, which is also quite an important one. But when I was being taught all about the indicators, I was told don't rely upon the indicators no matter what they are. Rely upon the price action, namely the movement in the price, all right, and the patterns in your candles, because everything else is there to reconfirm that your decision as to where it's going to go is correct, rather than being the thing which dictates to you where things went, where things are going to go. Oh, there's a bit of bad news for me because the candle's gone up. That's not a problem. No, that's not a problem because the stop loss is in place. So I'm not going to lose tons of money. Okay, so it's like a question of whether you're going to use top-down thinking or bottom-up thinking when you're looking at the various indicators and what they're actually trying to tell you and trying to show. If you're seeing these as being like the way, the truth, and the light, you're going to screw yourself up. Okay? If you see the price action as the way, the truth, and the light, and the candle patterns are concerned, then you're more likely to be successful. And the whole thing about trading, the way I understand it, is it's not a question of luck, it's a question of probabilities. And therefore, is it more probable that you're going to get a winning trade if you do this, that, and the other? And also having the strength of character to get out of a trade when you think that the time is right to do it, whether you're winning or whether you're losing, thinking about the other trading opportunities which might come during the day. The other thing that I've learned is about the power of the news. Now, news stuff comes out on quite a regular basis, and there's, on one of the brokers I'm using, they have something called an economic calendar, which tells you at what time of day precisely various forms of news are supposed to be being released. And when that happens, then you get massive movements. So you've got to be able to anticipate beforehand where you think it's going to go, or indeed have a system, which is what I've been working on more recently, which is to have two positions, one above the price action, one below the price action, with stop losses already in place, and these are pending orders. So when the candle goes straight up through the top one, it'll trigger that one. I can then cancel the bottom one, and we can just start making money on the top one. That's what I've been doing. That can be difficult because you get these things called fake outs. Now, a fake out is when you get like a big spike of price action, which basically is not indicative of your long-term price movement, but that can still trigger your stops and your pending orders. So therefore, you've got to leave enough room to be able to allow for these things, which can happen. And there's also the types of candles which are called shooting stars, when you got like massive spikes, or you got massive spikes going downwards, but which is still not indicative of the price action. And apparently this is done by, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. So the rumor goes it is done by the big investment banks to try and shake out all of the retail investors like myself from the market, so as to have a more profitable result for the big banks. That's a story. I don't know how reliable that is, or how true that is, or whether there's real hard and fast objective insider information telling people, which demonstrates that that's the truth. But either way, variability can happen. I've got lots of indicators up on this at the moment, but I've developed the ability to just focus in on one thing at a time. So I can just focus in on the candles, or I can just mentally focus in on these two moving averages here, or I can just mentally focus in just on this here, which is called the Bollinger Band, and that's used in some particular ways, which I might mention in another video, and basically I might not, realistically speaking, okay? And I've got a few other moving averages there. Sometimes I put other indicators like the parabolic SAR or parabolic SAR, which is quite a fun one, which puts lots of little dots above or beneath the candle, suggesting that this is a buying time or a selling time. But again, think about this from either top-down or bottom-up processing, you know what I mean? So I've already learned quite a lot about what this is about, okay? I'm more than willing to confess that I've still got a hell of a lot more to learn, but it would be good to try and turn this into like a mini business in its own right, to help me along and get on and get by with life. Still, I'm enjoying it so far. It keeps me occupied between calls, and it's good fun. Speak to you later.